When everything's in the heat of the moment, I'm thinking about what I need to do in my car and what we need to do to be successful. There's two things that I'm very passionate about. That's my family and my race car. If you mess with either one of them, I'm subject to do something about it.
You keep my daddy out of this loud man.
Your daddy?
Why the hell did you do that, Plan?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Orange Bumper Podcast.
You're back from your vacation in Daytona?
Yeah, that's what somebody else said, a vacation.
Yeah.
When you go to Speed Weeks, it's not a vacation.
No, I'm sure. I bet you got your steps in, though.
I did tell somebody if I had an Apple Watch, that thing would have probably died on me halfway through the day.
Probably blown up.
Yeah, but
You were everywhere, man.
It was fun.
You're like, where's Waldo?
we had a really good time, man. I worked out a deal. It's a little bit of a long story. So I worked out a deal with Phil at PSR, and he said, we're already going. Bobby Labonte ran the Welland Tour race,
Right.
and then so did Connor Jones in their other car. So they took two house cars, and Phil said, I'm already going to be there. Connor wants to run a night or two on Speed Week's night, or Speed Week, and want to know if I want to come. We put a deal together with Tommy's help, and it was actual car that Bobby Labonte drove, the 38 Cookout car that he drove in the tour race. We went on Sunday and we changed the body over and made it 17.
Oh, okay.
So it was the same car.
Okay.
And I ran Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But yeah, we had a great time, man. We hung out. We did this a couple years ago with the PSR group, Eddie Harvey and all the guys. Eddie's working with PSR now. Me and Eddie worked together when I drove for Eddie. So huge shout out to them, and had a great time. It's next year we're planning on maybe doing the whole week. But it's probably more fun to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
We did Monday, then you come in on Tuesday, fluff the car up, kind of get everything pretty much ready, and then come back on Wednesday, and then the car's pretty much sitting there ready to go to race. And then we did the same thing. Terry and DJ are two guys that was with us, had never been to the big track, so me and Jamie took them over and watched the duels Thursday night. So it was just really fun, man. But it's cool when you drive for somebody else because you know how you do things, with racing. And so to do it with another team and to see how they operate and see the adjustments they make and being able to interact. But Phil and the guys, huge shout out to Phil and PSR. I almost feel like that my team is a remote team, kind of like the Wood brothers with Penske.
Right.
I feel like we're a remote team to PSR. We're not actually house cars, but my team, I feel like we're a remote team because we get so much support from Phil. And Phil is, I guess it's PSR because of Phil, but it probably should be JSR for Jen. I think there was one morning, her birthday was Friday, so Phil called to wish her happy birthday. She's talking about how she'd been up since, I think, 5 a.m. She'd been cleaning the shop. She runs his CNC machine. So it's a joint effort. But yeah, man, we had a great time. Just the camaraderie, hanging out, and everybody goes to a place called Merck's.
Okay.
After the race. It's just a little sports bar. And when I say everybody, like it doesn't matter if it's 10 p.m. or 2 a.m., everybody goes from New Smyrna over to Merck's, and had a great time there. So, yeah, it was fun.
When y'all were down there with that car, was it kind of like an R&D session? Like, were y'all trying some new thing? Like, I mean, obviously you're always there to win, right? But was the main focus trying to look at some new things, shake down some things?
Well, yeah, he like Phil, and that's the cool thing about PSR is they're constantly trying to find something more, and they're going to test, and they have the resources to be able to put data on a car. They have an engineer that where they can, hone in and get better and better and better. So. And obviously we're competitors against each other at the same time, so I don't expect to get all the secrets. Yeah. But it's nice to be able to get in somebody else's car that you didn't set up and see how it drives and see how it acts. And the drive that the car had was just phenomenal, and probably too much drive for the situation and with the package that we had. We had the NASCAR spec motor, the 50, the 179, and the 20. I think all had built motors.
Yeah, you could tell.
And it's it's not an excuse by any means, but different packages for different nights probably suit the situation a little bit better. If you're tight with a spec motor, it kind of bogs the motor down. where a built motor may pull up out of the hole a little bit better. But yeah, it wasn't necessarily about, and we always go to win. But it was probably a little bit of R&D work. We ran Monday night to get us prepared for Wednesday. And
Wednesday, you had a great run.
We did. We ran really good
well.
Wednesday, and then Friday when we came back, the weather was a little hotter. The track was greasier in practice, and we made some adjustments. And at the end of practice, we were really, really good. Sun goes down, and then we start the race, and we just missed it a little bit. But all in all, nothing was tore up. That's the first time since I can remember that I've made it past Wednesday. The last 2 times I'd been, we got knocked out on Wednesday and didn't get to finish the week. So. We had a really good time, man, just hanging out. And there was a couple guys that I knew, but I didn't know. And we were talking about like trips like that creates friendships and relationships that you carry on forever and ever. Yeah. So yeah, man, we had a really good time.
Saw you caught up with our buddy George Phillips.
We did. Me and George hung out for a little bit at the racetrack and got some pictures and talked a little bit. I watched him and he watched me. And
I enjoyed watching, obviously the modifieds, but I've never really watched a lot of the supers run. And I found it really interesting to watch them. There was a lot of moving people, and there was not a single dive bomb into the corner afterwards. Like it was that's just what you do.
Right.
And I'll tell you what, that young lady, Jade Abadijian.
I met her at Merck's one night.
I think she's the real deal, man.
She seems to be. I didn't get to focus on her too much, and I thought I recognized her. She was over in the corner, and they called her over there. And obviously, my daughter's name is Jade, so I let her know that, and we talked for a second. But then I saw her a few times at the racetrack. But if you've never got to go, obviously to the big track at Daytona, if you've never been, you got to go do it. It's not. It kind of changed my mindset, because back in the day, whenever we would go to Daytona and watch like the duels, and you're sitting here and here they come, woo, 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 and then we're talking like this right here for a minute, and then woo, 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 they've got huge screens now. So when they go by, and then you watch the screen and you can see what's happening, like watching it on TV, but you're still experiencing the live part of it. But then at New Smyrna, going for the speed weeks at New Smyrna Speedway, the divisions and the people and the races and the atmosphere of that too is just, it's built for people like us who are not hobby racers, for people who do it for a living and who are committed. Excuse me. So it's
and speaking of which, shout out to Ryan Flores on his 602 win.
I know, man.
That was cool.
So we were already at Merck's,
cool.
and we had it on their phone, and we're all like, "Come on, Skip! Come on, Skip!" pulling for him. So that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, that was cool to watch him have such a good run. I'm a big fan of his.
He is a cool dude,
the way he
man.
does things and everything. He's a true racer.
Absolutely.
And so I was really happy for him.
I enjoy watching people who, when racing season's over, they find somewhere else to race. Yeah. And he's one of those.
Well, let's
season's over. Oh, no, it's not.
Let's back up 10 days prior to that, the Clash.
Yeah, all right.
The race.
Do we have to?
Well, I mean, the race that almost never happened. Unfortunately, the modifieds and sportsmen have not run yet. I say that with an asterisk. But, golly.
A little birdie told me don't count on it.
Of it happening?
Not.
Oh, of it not happening.
Not happening.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I mean.
And I get it. And we kind of all knew that, I think.
I saw somebody on a Bowman Gray post maybe said something about, it loses its luster when,
it does.
When
I think
it's not.
Well, when you call it a cookout classic is what they called it. And with the cup cars there and that hype.
Yeah, all the decision makers, everybody.
If you take that away, I think logistically it was just hard to make it happen. I don't think you could pull off a modified sportsman race. And then if you think about adding, let's make it a full-blown Bowman Gray and add street stock and mini stock. Well, a lot of those guys are not ready until April.
Right.
And if you think about, we'll bring another series in to add like an outside series in ARCA or something like that. Yeah. Well, their schedules are already
Legends
in place.
Or something like that. Yeah.
I think whenever, and like I said, don't hold me to that, but I think whenever we saw this week that the Bowman Gray yearly schedule just came out, I think that was pretty much solidifying that it was.
Yeah. Well,
That was going to be our next race.
Clash weekend, or weekday actually. I remember when you went out, first group in practice.
We were to keep. All right, let's detail this. My group was the first cars on the track.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
With the snow and the ice and the brine and
I watch you go out, and I'm sitting there freezing. Like I mean, I felt like we were in Antarctica, and I was like, "There's no way these tires are gonna get heat." Like somebody, when they try to get up to speed, this is gonna be ugly.
Yeah, and
it looked like everybody kind of was tiptoeing a little bit until they weren't.
Yeah,
and then it was game on.
Yeah, I mean, I made a lap or two enough to get heating the tires and heating everything, and then you just get after it.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've raced in conditions that cold. The tires, I think that they brought a little softer left side tire this year, so that helped. But man, it's about the resources. I mean, they say everybody's equipment is the same.
No, it's not.
It's close. But we elaborated on this last year about how you submit your package to NASCAR and then they seal your shock and spring, and that's what you got.
Yeah.
And so when we got there, and same as last year, not knowing for sure what we need, and Tony made adjustment. The first round was terrible. The second round, I was like, okay, well, this is not bad. And I was actually catching the group in front of me. I could not make raw speed, but I had long run speed. Well, last year we had heat races. Mm-hmm. Well, this year we didn't. So that's basically us losing a test session.
Right.
So we went right into qualifying. Well, Tony just had to throw the kitchen sink at it. And I think the analogy I made is we tried to hit a home run and hit a foul ball. So then he has to back up. And I think everybody, everybody kind of played nice this year. My gut tells me that the mentality of a lot of those guys was, let's just get this done and get out of here. Yeah. Let's get to Daytona, because it had been drug out. So everybody played nice. There wasn't many cautions and there wasn't many, altercations. So, but listen, at the end of the day, thank you to Citrusafe and Willie and Becky and Tony, C3, Tibbetts Lumber Company, everybody that kind of came on board to make it happen again. And we just got to. I don't want to sound ungrateful by any means, but I want more. I want better. And I think if we do this again, it's going to have to be an effort where we can be better. It's nobody's fault by any means.
No, you've checked the block of participating.
Right.
But I know, knowing you the way I do, you want to compete.
Yeah. And like last year, we weren't
well,
we weren't P1, but we were moving to the front.
Yeah. Well, the LCQ this year, I mean, the last 20, 25 laps, when Corey LaJoy,
when the leaders passed me and I fell in right behind them. But that's what I was saying is I couldn't make the speed.
Right.
So by the time I get lapped, I'm as fast as they are. Well, I'm already lapped by then.
Yeah. I was pulling for Corey. God, was I pulling for him to get in that thing.
Yeah.
But how cool for Ryan Preece.
Oh,
one of our past guests. He was a friend of yours for a long time.
Yeah.
To win that. And, you talk about a true racer at heart.
Absolutely. Well, he was at New Smyrna.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so,
the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
Next morning. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I did see where the stadium announced their schedule, which it wasn't anything major, but one of the things we talked about is we kind of noted that there were some Crown Vic races on there.
That's going to be cool, man.
So
that's going to be cool.
I kind of want to take a pause and put a plea out there to the interweb world. And we need Cletus to see this. Cletus, we want you to come to Bowman Gray, and we want you to race one of the Crown Vic races. You got probably arguably the greatest driver at Bowman Gray sitting right here to help you out. Crown Vics. The Daytona stuff, one night was not so good. The other was good. But all those haters out there, they don't have a chance to get a Bowman Gray trophy. So hook up with us, man. Let's put something together.
I think I told you he was mobbed after the ARCA race. He was mobbed, and I caught him as he was going by and introduced myself. Oh yeah, hey man, what's going on? I said we need you on the podcast, because he was kind of walking as he was going, and he was like, oh yeah, get with our people. Yeah, let's make it happen. So it'd be cool to have him on here leading up to that.
Well, Bowman Gray
that first weekend,
and Tommy made the point earlier. Bowman Gray is Cletus McFarland. Those are interchangeable.
Absolutely.
Those are his people.
Absolutely.
You talk about packing the stands. He comes and runs a race at Bowman Gray. I mean, number one, that would just be awesome.
Yeah.
Number two, he's just a people's guy.
I never saw him the whole time without a huge smile on his face.
Well,
and talking to people, he didn't blow anybody off, like selfies. Just very personal.
One of the things that you see with, especially professional athletes, celebrities, whatever, is they kind of have two personalities. They've got their public persona, because they're
some
held
in a good way, some in a bad.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
I know what you mean.
They're held to so many different standards because they have ties to sponsors or governing bodies or whatever, and so they really have to have that public persona, and then they have the private persona where they're just them.
Yeah,
he's just him,
right?
And that's what I like about him.
I do.
I've heard some people kind of say, "Oh, he doesn't deserve this," or okay, whatever.
Yeah.
But he puts people in the stands. He puts people at the track that are buying your T-shirts.
So I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'm going to say it. So I think we talked about a little bit about this. So there's been some people who have ridiculed Cletus because of the avenue or the path that he took to get to where he's at. So it's all about the money. Okay,
Absolutely.
You don't have to be a race car driver.
No.
You can be a lawnscape guy.
No.
And come into some money, you'll be racing tomorrow. So it's about the money. What's the difference in Cletus doing what he did to generate the revenue to be able to be in that position versus some grandkid of some guy who is a multimillionaire that put this kid in that same position? What's the difference? Cletus didn't have a rich uncle or a rich grandpa. So Cletus used what he could use to be able to make it happen. Why are you hating on him for?
I'm with you.
And then you take a guy who was a grandson or somebody of somebody and may crash out and it's accepted. But
Right.
when Cletus crashes out, oh, he's just a YouTube guy. What's the difference?
Well,
What's the difference?
Well, I think some competitors are natural racers and others are learned racers.
Right.
And watching him and just what he does, with all forms of anything that goes fast. And the thing is, when he races, he's respectful.
Yeah.
Like, and I love you guys like race car drivers. But if y'all don't perform well, I've never seen a driver say, "Yeah, I screwed up on entry a lot," and I got frustrated. Like, it's never you guys. It's always, I didn't have the car underneath me. It just goes loose.
Driver blames the car.
Yeah, it's never the
crew
driver.
chief blames the driver.
But I mean, he comes out and he's like, "Yeah, man, like I wanted eagles to soar and man, pigeons fell instead.
Yeah, right.
Like it was on me." I respect that,
I do too, man.
Like the humility of it. But
listen, it's a game.
it's
Life
the
is a
entertainment
game.
value.
Racing is a game.
Yeah.
All sports are a game, and it's whoever plays the game the best. And it's not about how talented you are sometimes. It's about how you play the game.
Mm-hmm.
How you play the game. And I think the thing that makes a difference, because I know people in our world who play the game but are doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
He plays the game because he wants to be a part of it.
Right.
He wants to win, and,
Right.
and he's genuine.
Yes.
He's genuine. There are
Yes.
people that we know that say something stupid just so they get attention.
Right.
And you're like, why?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
But Cletus, like the Eagle comment,
Yeah.
that's him.
Yeah.
That's genuine.
Yeah.
So as long as it's genuine and you're doing it for the right reasons, man,
But he doesn't come out.
I'm all for it.
He
man.
doesn't
He's
come out and
cool.
say, "Well, I need to see the replay to see what happened."
Yeah. The biggest
He's like,
thing-
"Well, I zigged when I should have zagged.
Right.
I just screwed
I
it
think
up."
the biggest thing about people who are on the other spectrum of that is just they're haters.
Well, what's
That's
the
all
number
it
one
amounts to.
complaint that you always hear? And I think even when Joey Denowitz was here, we kind of touched on it. Like the number one complaint that race fans have is everybody's cookie cutter.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's so just corporate.
Right.
And he's not. He is the definition of an everyday guy.
Yeah.
And I respect it. So,
Me too.
I mean, I don't say that to, polish his hind end to try and get him here, but I do think it would be pretty cool if we get him to the stadium for one of the Crown Vic races.
Yeah.
Look into that.
I
and-
can't imagine why that wouldn't happen, man.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Well,
We are Citrusafe, where good grilling is made better. We have prided ourselves in being the industry pioneer for safe grill cleaners. Our citrus-powered grill cleaner spray paired with our nylon bristle brushes is all you need when it comes time to clean your grill. We strive to not only save you fuel, but also avoid the dangers associated with ingesting metal wire grill brushes. Citrusafe is available at major retailers nationwide from Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace, Walmart, and many more. We also are available online on Amazon.com. Citrusafe, great for all grills.
You talk about playing the game and sponsorship stuff like that. We're very, very excited to have one of your sponsors here today. Mm-hmm. And once again, and I always find myself in this position, I'm always flanked by winners. And then there's just me, the dumbass, sitting here. But folks, I'd like to introduce you to Jeff Denny. And Jeff owns the Generator Superstore. Supercenter.
Supercenter.
I even practiced earlier, man.
Supercenter.
Thank you for correcting me. I'm sorry.
No, all good. All good.
Jeff is an awesome guy, North Carolina through and through, but also played basketball for the University of North Carolina for Dean Smith.
Wait.
I knew this was coming. I knew it was coming. No, I told you yesterday you're coming into hostile territory.
I knew ahead of time that I was going to be flanked by
I hope this doesn't affect our relationship, but I just got to lay the groundwork before we
I understand.
Before we get
and
going
I actually have a rule after I played there that I will recognize you as that team from Durham, but we don't say that word.
When we were talking yesterday, I was like, you're coming into hostile territory. But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, you and I are Duke fans. He and Tommy are Carolina fans, so it'll
balance is Carolina. So
Devin, you're the tiebreaker, buddy. No pressure.
He's Winston State. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, the best part about it is,
for.
like in racing, you're only as good as your last game.
Right.
So, I mean, right? We're only as good as our last game. And, it turned out pretty good for the Tar Heels.
Yeah, it did. It did. Until, and I said this after Carolina beat Duke, that Caleb Williams kid is special. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I also, I remember looking over at my wife.
You've seen since he got hurt how
special
that's what I was
getting ready to say.
Yeah.
I looked over at my wife watching that game, and she's, you've got obnoxious Carolina fans, you've got obnoxious Duke fans. My wife is on the spectrum of obnoxious Duke fan. Mm-hmm. I love you, honey. But I looked right at her, and I said, if that Caleb Williams kid gets hurt, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
And then, sure enough, but that kid's special. The next game in Cameron will be interesting, but switching gears a little bit, we mentioned you'd play basketball at Carolina. You were there for some really, really good years, and I'm curious because you hear all these stories about like Carolina basketball, and for people that are not somewhat close to the state of North Carolina, Duke and Carolina basketball is like it's it. I mean Like stuff stops.
That's our comparison to anything.
Yes.
When you talk about rivals, that's the Duke and Carolina. That's the Duke and Carolina.
Yeah. People always say it's the Tim Brown, Burt Myers, or Duke and Carolina.
Tim Brown, Burt Myers is a comparison to Duke and Carolina.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
So
me being Duke, of course.
Well, of course. With that said, what were some of the most fun things you took from being one of the just very few people that got to play at Carolina, and especially for Dean Smith?
Yeah, it was an incredible experience, and I'll go back to how I grew up. So we grew up in Rural Hall, lived in Rural Hall. My mom and dad and my brother were huge Wake Forest fans because we were so close to Wake Forest. But my grandmother and my uncle were huge Dean Smith and Carolina fans. My grandmother told stories about how she sat around listening to the radio of the 1957 national championship game, where it went to triple overtime and they beat Kansas and Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow.
About that.
So she imparted Carolina into me ever since I was a little kid. So from the time I'm 3 years old, the only thing that I ever want to do is go to Carolina and play basketball. So I actually tell people that I'm one of those guys that got to live out a little boy's childhood dream in going to play at Carolina. And I had people ask me, say, "Hey, you really want to go to Carolina?" I said, "I will walk through glass and crawl through fire if I ever had the opportunity to do that." And luckily, stars lined up, and Coach Smith was recruiting me, and he was very honest and upfront. He said, "Hey, listen, I've already offered a scholarship to a guy named Rex Chapman. You guys remember played for the Hornets?
Played for the Hornets,
He said, if he comes, then I'm not going to have a spot for you."
He went to Kentucky, didn't he?
He went to Kentucky. And he actually said that. He said, "Listen, he's from Kentucky, so there's probably a pretty good chance he's either going to Kentucky or Louisville." And so I just had to wait out, him deciding where he's going to go. And Coach Smith called me late October, senior year of high school, and said, "Hey, I just got a call from Rex Chapman, and he's going to Kentucky, so we want to offer you
That's
a scholarship.
awesome,
and I said, well, listen, Coach, I can be there in an hour and a half to sign this thing if you want me to.
Get the pen ready. I'm on the way.
Yeah, let me sign it before you change your
mind.
mind.
So what's it like the first time you get on campus and you got your first practice and you put that uniform on and you're in the was it still in Carmichael then?
No, so I played the first full season of the Dean
Oh,
Smith
okay,
Center.
okay.
They had started like half a season my senior year of high school, so the first full season. And I can tell you, you're running out, and it's a dome. It is a massive place, and it's light blue everywhere. And that first time I come out, I think my head may have hit the ceiling because
Right.
I am just jacked up,
Yeah.
and just ready to go. But then I'm also still thinking about parents and
Right.
everybody that had a hand in me getting there, and coaches, and just going way back. But it was an incredible experience. Everything you hear about Coach Smith, you can multiply by 10. He is just a wonderful, wonderful man. And while he was a great coach and did so many amazing things on the court, he was more concerned about us as young men growing into men and what we were going to become as, fathers and husbands, and just, being part of the community and giving back, and making sure that we, stayed between the ditches. And there was things that we did along the way that were unrelated to basketball. We had to remember every day at practice. We had to remember a offensive emphasis, a defensive emphasis, and a thought for the day. And those thoughts for the day were just general, trying to be a better person. I still, tell some to my kids, never judge thy neighbor till you walk in his moccasins for 2 full moons. If a snake bites you once, it's the snake's fault. If a snake bites you twice, it's your fault. And just whether it's Martin Luther King or Gandhi, or we just remember those things over and over and over. And so that was amazing. Twice during our 4 years, we actually went over to Central Prison in Raleigh and practiced inside their gym, inside the prison, with the prisoners right here. And we do our practice, and then we finish, and they come out on the court, and they're talking to us, and he just wanted us to know that, hey, these they're still people too.
Well, and nothing had to be
awesome,
nothing
man.
had to be said either about setting the example that if you don't walk this line, there's a chance that you could end up here.
Yeah.
Who are some of the players you played with? And I know when we were talking, I always called it the flat top generation.
Yes.
Like all the guys you played with, they all had the flat tops, right?
I tried to get one, but it didn't work on my
No,
head.
I can't understand why.
I tell people I look at pictures now from back then, and I look like a Q-tip. I was like this big around and had hair like this. So no, I was very, very fortunate. 13 guys that I played with during my 4 years at Carolina actually played in the NBA. So my freshman year, Kenny Smith, Joe Wolf, Dave Popson, and Curtis Hunter were seniors.
Okay.
I had the good fortune of guarding Kenny Smith every day in practice. And there was a reason they called him the Jet. And when he came across half court, I was picking him up at about the foul line, trying to keep him from getting to the basket because he was just quick on quick. It was unbelievable. Ranzino Smith was a kid from Chapel Hill, great scorer, left-handed. Sophomore guys were Jeff Lebo, Kevin Madden, Steve Bucknall. All those guys were McDonald's All-Americans, great players. And then our recruiting class was J.R. Reed, who had the original flat top. Yeah. Scott Williams, who was from California. Scott Williams and I were roommates all 4 years.
Now, he went on to play at the Bulls national championship.
He won 3 titles with the Bulls right out of college, undrafted, and we were playing in a basketball game in Greensboro that Michael Jordan came back in the summers to play in. Fred Whitfield, who became, I guess, general manager of the Hornets, they were buddies. And Fred had started a basketball camp in Greensboro. And so they had a pickup game, and Jordan came over for that. And Scott and I went over and played in it. And Jordan saw him and was like, hey, where are you going to go play? Because he didn't get drafted. He said, well, I'm trying to figure that out. Well, 2 days later, Jerry Krause, the general manager for the Bulls, calls Coach Smith and says, hey, we want Scott Williams to come up here. Jordan had made that, happen. So I know one of the things in racing, you guys are just detailed oriented, and you got to get the little things right. You get the little things right, you're going to get the big things right, and that's what Coach Smith was so good at. He could see things that happened during a game, and he'd put that in his memory bank. Speaking of putting in a memory bank, in that game with Jordan in Greensboro, he noticed that I had on some basketball shorts, but I didn't have the string tied, so it was just hanging. And so somebody was shooting a free throw. I'm standing at half court. He's behind me, and he comes up behind me and takes my shorts down to my ankles. I'm standing there, 3,000 people in the stands going, "Oh, that's not good." But anyway, a great experience, a lot of fun, and Coach Smith just did an incredible job of bringing guys from different backgrounds, different experiences. Some had parents, some didn't. And brought us all together to where we lived with each other for 4 years straight. These were our brothers, and a wonderful experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
I think with all the NIL stuff now, one of the things that gets lost in translation is bringing people together that can all buy into the team atmosphere, trying to get rid of the individuals. And we've got a friend of the family, and they've got a son that's a football prodigy. He's a junior, will be a rising senior, and one of the service academies is interested in him. I was talking to his dad, and I said, here's the thing with Annapolis or West Point, or and back in the day with Coach Smith, and I think Coach Krzyzewski probably did the same thing too, is they weren't looking for accolades, they weren't looking for titles, they were looking for character. And they were looking for people that they could put together that are, with service academies, they're mission oriented. With with basketball, it's team oriented. And what can I do to contribute either on a small scale or a large scale to the success of the program and this team? And I think that NIL, and I'm sure you probably think it's more disgusting than what I think NIL has really screwed that up. And you look back at coaches like Coach Smith that were able to do that, to your point, bringing people from different walks of life, but understanding their character, and that this group should be able to gel and buy into the team atmosphere for success. I think that's lost today. I really do.
It really has. I understand it. It's a great financial opportunity for these kids. I look back and with how much time I played, I'm probably a $200,000-$300,000 a year guy if I were playing today. Right. But that I got $15 a game back when I played. But I actually think that they're doing a disservice to those kids.
I agree.
Because they're not learning the life lessons. They're not learning hey, I'm not playing right now, but I've got to do things to get better. I've got to do things to overcome maybe my deficiencies. I've got to fight through this. I've got to become a man and get to where I want to get to. And now they're just creating a culture that, hey, I didn't get to play here, and it was the coach's fault, so I'm going to go over here.
Well, loyalty's lost.
Done.
No loyalty.
So I remember growing up and being a Duke fan with Hurley and Grant Hill and Leitner and those guys, and you got to know the guys as a fan. You got to know them, and you appreciated the camaraderie and the loyalty and everything. And even if you want to relate it to racing, back in the day with the RCR group, with the Flying Aces, that was a group that was a core group that had been together forever, that had chemistry, and they gelled, and they were brothers. I mean, and now it's just whoever pays the most money, that's where they go. But it's cool to hear this because I don't know how familiar you are with Roy Trantham. I mean, you guys remember Roy. Roy was telling Ben told me a story the other day that Roy told him. He said, I hear people say this, because I've said it. We've all said it. I want better for my kids than what I had, right? Yep. And Roy said, I realized that was hurting my kids more than it was helping them. And he said, what do you mean? And he said, because knowing Roy, he said, I didn't want to create an oxygen thief. He said, if I provide for my kids so that they have better than what I have or had, he said, I have what I have because I went through things.
Yeah.
I went through life and I had to earn it, and I learned it. He said, if I hand it to them and say, well, I want better for them than they have for me, they haven't earned it. They haven't learned it. So there's going to be a day I'm gone. Where are they going to be? Right. What are they going to have? And so that makes sense, and me and Harvick talked about, like with Keelan and Slate, that you want to raise a good person, and then everything else will flow. Yeah. And so that makes a lot of sense. And even though I'm a Duke fan, I respect Carolina. I respected Coach Smith just for what they've accomplished, and it's refreshing to hear that what I assumed was what kind of man he was, that he really was. So it's cool to hear those.
Well, I'll tell you how I learned just how dedicated Carolina is, and it just so happened that Tommy was with us when this happened. And you'll remember it when I start to tell us. So the Highway Patrol sent me to NC State for a grad program. And one of the guys I was with is a friend of mine named Lee Johnson, and he's still a trooper.
Remember Lee?
Yeah. And he graduated from Carolina.
Okay.
Die hard. I mean, like, you cut his arm, he's bleeding Carolina blue. So we get tickets for the basketball game at the Smith Center. And the entire time, the week leading up to it, and I called Tommy. I was like, hey, we got tickets. You want to go? And so it was me, Tommy, Pete Steins, and Lee. And, Lee's got his Carolina blue on, and he's, I'm wearing, they were playing Louisville. So I've got a red Under Armour shirt on.
Right.
Okay. Just to kind of pick at Lee. And so we get ready to leave, and he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? You can't disrespect the Tar Heels like that, man. I graduated from that. And I was like, nah, man. I was like, it is what it is, So we go, and Tommy's looking at me, but he doesn't really say anything. I'm sure he and Lee probably spoke. So we get into the Smith Center, and where we're sitting, I mean, to your point, solid blue everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, number one attended college sports venue, basketball venue in the country, and everybody there, like, just Carolina blue. And there's a very small Louisville section. And then there's me with the red shirt sitting halfway up, right?
Like,
so, yeah, so like early on in the game, and you remember Lee is he's fought some amateur UFC fights. Mm-hmm. He's big into jiu-jitsu and, taekwondo, whip your ass and all this stuff. And so Carolina goes to the free throw line. And guy's standing there dribbling, and he's getting ready to shoot. And I yelled something, and everybody in the Smith Center looks at me. And Lee leans over, and he's like, if you do that again, I swear to God, I will bury you. You don't embarrass us like that in the Smith Center. If Tommy would have said it, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. But Lee could have reached over and grabbed my carotid artery out of my neck and thrown it out there. So, but
Hey everybody, it's Devin from New Again, and today I'm going to show you a different way you can use our rust remover kit. As you can see, there is some surface rust right here on this table saw. Someone left a jug that had some water on it, or some water just got trapped underneath the jug, creating an outline, or whatever this is, of surface rust. So first we're going to take our soapy water, we're going to get rid of any contaminants, any loose particles on the surface. Then we're going to take our gel, we're going to apply it to the surface, let it spread out. Then we're going to take our applicator pad and we're going to actually agitate it a little bit, try and get it in there a little bit deeper if we can. So the key point is just making sure that everything's covered with this gel. Then we're going to let it sit for a little bit. So after you see that the rust has been removed, we're going to wipe it down, we're going to rinse it, we're going to dry it and see what it looks like. And these are the results. You can find New Again in the grilling section at Home Depot or online at homedepot.com.
To your point, I am a Duke fan, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for the Carolina program.
So I got a story like that too. So back in the day, this has been 30 years ago, a person I knew through their work had tickets to the Carolina game. Well, Mikey Joyce, an old friend of mine, diehard. Like, we would be out somewhere, Carolina game's in 20 minutes, I got to go. Like, go home. He was one of those, right? Yeah. Well, the person that I knew had 2 tickets, and I would take Mikey. And I wasn't a Carolina fan, and I didn't wear a Duke shirt or anything like that. It was probably a white shirt or a black shirt, or I just was like cool about it. And it was a Clemson. They were playing Clemson. Well, when we got there and we sat there, it was behind the goal. Well, it happened to be where the alumni sit, and there was a bunch of older folks, like the little old white-haired lady with the knitted.
Yeah, that donates $1 million a year. Yeah.
And so this is when Campbell, it was Eldon Campbell, I think, played for Clemson. And he's at the free throw line. Or no, he dunked on somebody. And when he did, I was like, yeah! And you can just imagine, because this is a section where
Yeah.
This is all us.
No, it's life.
You don't come. This is not visitors coming in. This is alumni section.
Right.
So I was like, yeah. And the look I got, this little old lady turned around and burned her eyes through me. The little old lady with the knitted. So then, obviously, after that, I
Yeah, you kind of
poking a little bit. I mean, I didn't do as much.
No,
I'd be
you
like,
gotta decock
I'd
and
elbow
holster.
him. I'd like, how you like that? How you like that? Just enough where they could hear me, but just around me could hear me. I didn't want them to catch me outside.
Just
after
enough
the
to be a
game
pain in
was
the
over.
ass.
Yeah. So we went to several more like that, and I realized then that, man, they're loyal, buddy. They
Now,
are loyal.
I understand you've got a really good Christian Leitner story that might turn some Kentucky
Well,
heads.
yeah. I was part of the recruiting entourage that when we had recruits come in, Coach Smith would have 2 or 3 players take that recruit out for 2 or 3 days. And so when Leitner was coming on a visit, Rick Fox, King Rice, and myself were tagged to take him out. Well, he picked a terrible weekend to come in town because it's fall break. The co-eds in Chapel Hill are one of the things that you want to come to school there for. So he spent, all weekend and didn't see any co-eds. And
Right.
so we're like, what are we going to do with this guy for 3 days? And there's not a lot going on. What do we do? So he comes and he's with his mom. He watches practice on Friday. On Saturday, we go out to dinner. We have dinner, but in practice that day, I had fallen on somebody's ankle. So my ankle's chewed up pretty good, and now I'm on crutches. And so we have dinner. We go up to Franklin Street. Now we're regrouping. All right, what are we going to do tonight? And we decided we're going to go to a movie. Because the clubs aren't going to happen until 11:30, 12 o'clock. So we'll go to the movie, we'll hang out, and then we'll come back. Well, my car is back at the dorm. I can't get on crutches and get back to where my car is. Rick Fox and King Rice were too cool to go back and get the car. So Leitner's like, well, just give me the keys. I'll go get it. I'm like, okay, all right, well,
Thanks,
here
kid.
the kids. Well, I had this, small little Oldsmobile Cutlass, and, Leitner's 6'11". He's a big boy. I'm 6'4", and I'm one of the small guys. And so he goes and gets my car. He's coming back up on Franklin Street, and there's this gas station. There's a parking lot with bollards. So we're standing kind of up against the building, and he pulls in, and again, small car, 6'11". He comes in the parking lot and hits the gas instead of the brakes, and just pows into these bollards. And I'm sitting there looking at my car going, oh my gosh, my dad is going to blow a gasket. He's going to rip me a new one. And then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, oh crap, Coach Smith is going to blow a gasket because, now
You're letting the kid drive a car.
I'm letting a recruit drive a car, and I'm thinking, all right, well, how many NCAA violations is this? Probably not supposed to be driving my car. So anyway, for the next 2 days, I turn into the biggest just jerk to Leitner because he's wrecked my car, and he's trying to make nice. Hey man, you okay? You okay? And I'm like, no, just get away. Well, he leaves. I hardly say anything to him. The next week he goes to Durham, has a great visit. He commits, and then 4 years later, he's winning the national championship for that team from Durham in 91 and 92. And now all I'm thinking is like, well, the reason they won a national championship in 91, 92 is because I was just a jerk to him and sent him off to that other school. Maybe I should have just not been a jerk to him. But I haven't seen him since then, other than having played against him.
Right.
So I'll have a bill for him the next time I see him.
Yeah.
To
As a
repair
Duke
that.
fan, thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, I think all the Duke folks are like, I appreciate that. And
Appreciate that.
All the Kentucky people, all the Kentucky fans are like, man, why couldn't he have just gone to Carolina? It would have made our life so much easier.
I think that they would have disliked him just as much
Probably.
if he'd have worn light blue as royal
probably.
blue. Yeah.
What was your favorite experience playing at Carolina?
I think the experience that I had was just being part of some great teams, having great teammates, and that have become brothers, and looking back on that experience as a kid that wanted to do that from 3 years old, living out a childhood dream. That was everything that I had ever wanted to do. I think about my parents and how proud they were of me to have had that opportunity to do that. I also think about my brother, and I always think about the why. He couldn't play sports, and so part of my drive and determination is that he can't do it, but I can, and I'm going to work my tail off to get to be able to do that for him. And so it was just as much for him as it was for me. Tell you one more quick Coach Smith story. When he came to recruit me at my house, he came with Coach Guthridge, and I mentioned that my mom, dad, and brother were huge Wake Forest fans. And so Coach Smith has taken time to get to know all of my coach, everybody there. So he finally gets to my brother. My mom is interpreting for him. And Coach says, well, who's Richard's favorite team? And so my mom looked at my brother and said, Coach wants to know who your favorite team is. And my brother stood up. Whenever he got in his face, he said, Wake Forest, Wake Forest. Coach Smith kind of taken back a little bit and said, well, maybe we can get him to like Carolina a little bit over the next 4 years. And I'm sitting there going, dude, what are you doing? I'm trying to go to school here, and you're punching a man in the face. Anyway, Coach Smith was super gracious. He said, well, maybe we'll get him to like Carolina a little bit. I wound up going to Carolina, and my brother wore light blue for 4 years.
That's cool.
As soon as I finished, he was back in black and gold, and he was never wearing light blue again.
Yep. I get
That's awesome. I do too. Matt Cromer used to be a Wake Forest fan, and then his son went to Carolina.
Yeah.
Turned to Carolina.
There you go.
And he said, and he used to say, I'm not pulling for Carolina, I'm pulling for my son.
I always thought about it like with Connor, if his football led him to Carolina.
Yeah.
How would I feel about that? And, truth be told, I'd be extremely proud. I would get all the Carolina stuff at Walmart and Dollar General and, wear it to the games and everything.
You like that. You like that, didn't you? Or Goodwill. Or,
I'd wait till I get beat by some community college, and I'd go to Walmart and get the markdown. But anyway, I'd wear it to all the games and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I'd probably be a fan for life. But you just don't meet that many people that get a chance to be at that high level, especially with somebody like Coach Smith. And I can only imagine the life values you took from it. I mean, here you are, a successful businessman, happy in life, things are going good for you. And I'm sure a lot of that is from your upbringing, but also from experiences, with Coach Smith and the players. And I'm assuming you probably still stay in touch with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, we still stay in touch. We have reunions. When they come in town, hey, come stay with us. There's a lot of, we pick up like we're still in the dorm 40 years ago. Right. And so it's a lot of fun.
Do you still do anything with basketball? I mean, you play at all? Or
I do
you
not.
Have anything
I do not. No. I stopped playing. I think I was probably 28 or 29. I had 2 ankle surgeries. Thankfully, I never had any knee problems, and just decided that, all right, I want to have kids. I enjoy playing golf, and I'd like to be able to play golf when I'm 75. If I keep trying to play basketball, that probably won't happen. Right. So I walked away at a good time. And growing up here in North Carolina, ACC basketball was the pinnacle of basketball for us. We weren't in a big city like New York or Chicago where they had the NBA. So the NBA to us was actually not as big.
I never really followed it.
Yeah,
I mean a little bit, but I followed players that would graduate and move
once
on,
they went
and you
on.
kind of followed.
Well, I followed,
and now we've lost that because they jump around so much. So
I was a big Chicago Bulls fan. Because of Jordan.
Yeah, I always was a Jordan fan.
And
not
I
in
always,
Carolina, but whenever I mean, how can you not pull for Michael Jordan? Right. You know what I mean?
I always followed a lot of the ACC players, and Jeff and I were talking yesterday. And I went to Duke basketball camp when I was in 8th grade, and it was the year that Krzyzewski was the Goodwill Games coach, and Alonzo Mourning was on the team, and Leitner, I think Hurley was, and somehow I managed to make the all-camper team. And as a reward, you got to play on the main floor at Cameron. Well, this was the year that Rodney Rogers was graduating from, it was Durham Hillside, wasn't it?
Durham Hillside.
Yeah, Hillside. Yep. And had committed to go to Wake Forest. And, just amazing dude. So anyway, he's on my team, and I'm bringing the ball up. And when you're in 8th grade, like how many people have you ever thrown an alley oop to? Like nobody.
Right.
Like if you hit a 3, you're like,
yeah,
fuck it. and so I'm coming up the right side of the floor, and Rodney's coming up the left side, and he keeps pointing. And it took me a second, and I was like, and I threw the worst alley oop. He dug this thing out of the rafters with his left hand. And I mean, how he didn't Shaquille O'Neal break the backboard, I'll never understand. And ever since then, I just, and then he went to Wake Forest. I was a Wake Forest fan, followed him and everything. And then, of course, he has a tragic accident. But I would always follow the ACC guys because, to your point, we didn't really have NBA,
No.
And so you would follow. And that's why I knew when you said Eldon Campbell, I was like, oh, yeah, he pigeon-toed guy that played at Clemson.
That's right.
I think he won. Where did he play? Where did he
Played
play?
with the Lakers.
That's right.
He won a title with
That's
the
right.
Lakers.
That's
yeah,
exactly
I
right.
always said that in college you played for the name on the front of your shirt. In NBA you play for the name on the back.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
it.
And now in college it's kind of flipped the
It's
other way
flipped.
too. So
That's exactly right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what. I hope that. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I hope that Carolina can get it together for the NCAA tournament, because when it comes NCAA tournament, I'm an ACC fan.
Yeah.
I won't say that in front of my wife. Well, I mean, she'll.
I know what you mean.
We're moving out of the camper today, but she might put me back in the camper.
Are you moving out today?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. We got our
hear ya.
CO, so yeah.
Gonna bust a champagne bottle on the side of it.
No, I'm just going to sleep in my own bed. I'm not going to have to pee in a bottle in the middle of the night. Like, I'm excited about this, but I'm when I kind of learned that you had a relationship with David, and then you and Bert had something going on. I was like, man, this is going to be really interesting. I'm going to learn a lot. But
I'm Jeff Denny, owner of Generator Supercenter, the #1 Generac installer in North Carolina and the #1 Generac installer in North America. We help homeowners and business owners here in Central North Carolina, from east of I-95 to the mountains of North Carolina, with their backup power needs. We give you safety, security, and peace of mind with a whole home backup generator. One of the most important things to think about when you're looking at getting a backup generator is making sure that you go with a company that has the right team that can not only install this generator, but they can also work on it and maintain it for many years to come. At Generator Supercenter, we have just that, because we have install teams that do this every day, and we also have certified technicians that are there to make sure your generator is going to be running when you need it. With weather, with power issues, with grid issues, everything that's going on around here in North Carolina, we never know when we're going to be without power. But our guys and our team in Generator Supercenter, we've got your back to make sure that this generator is going to run when you need it. We've had a lot of business customers come to us, a lot of restaurants that have looked out and said, we lost power for 3 weeks, we lost power for a month, and because of that, we lost $50,000 to $75,000 worth of food in our refrigerators. We don't want to go through that again. We've been able to help those restaurants get backup power, safety, and security, so that they never have to worry about food spoilage, anything going wrong with the refrigerators. The other thing that is a plus to that is they are now going to be the only game in town where they're open when the power goes down. There's a lot of ways that we can help you get your generator for your house. Pay for it all up front. We also have some financing options that we can get a generator for you, get you safety, security, and peace of mind for as little as $140 a month. I'd like for you to reach out to me, Jeff Denny, the owner. My email address is jdenny@generatorsupercenter.com, and you can also reach me at my cell phone number, 919-306-2765.
I will tell you have single-handedly changed my mind on Carolina folks. As long as Tommy stays quiet over there, because he's still a loud Carolina fan. But no, we really appreciate you being here. I'm excited to see you get involved with motorsports and racing.
Well, thank you for allowing me to be here. Thank you for the opportunity. Bert, thank you for letting me come on the car.
No, thank you for coming on.
It's a way to, hopefully grow our brand, but also have a tie-in back to my brother and the love that he had for you and what you did for him. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
And
My pleasure.
we try really.
I'm glad it was full circle.
Yeah.
We try real hard to make sure you know, that sponsors aren't just sponsors. You know, they're partners, and you know, we have a good platform here, but we like to have fun. And if you're going to do anything, it's got to be fun. And that's one thing that we've always tried to do. And you know, I've really enjoyed listening to you today, and look forward to getting to know you better. I hope you come to the racetrack some this year.
Oh, I'll be there.
Get to see some of the difference between being a Carolina basketball player and being in the pits at Bowman Gray. Very different ends of the spectrum there. But yeah, we're excited to have you on board this year. And folks, you know, when it comes time to you know, get your generator, if you haven't even thought about an at-home generator, I mean, now's the time to do it. And I don't say that as a used car salesman pitch. I'm, as we just talked about, I'm building a new house, getting ready to move in, starting here in 20 minutes when I leave. And I hadn't really thought about it until I started talking to Jeff, and I was like, you know, I just spent all this money on this new house, and you know, it's for my family, it's for us, it's you know, I'm retired, I want to have some of the nicer things in life now, and one of those is electricity and hot water when nobody else has it, and it's really made me think, you know, is this something I need to invest in? And you know, when you made the insurance comparison, that was kind of like my
When the power
moment.
goes out, it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, that's 100%.
Too late.
But you know, please keep Jeff in mind. We'll put up links to his store and everything. And one of the things that I've always been real big on that I took from the Highway Patrol is investing emotionally in your people. Mm-hmm. And I noticed you put your personal cell phone out there for customers to call you.
I do. You know, I'm the owner of this company. The buck stops here. I want people to know that we're going to take care of them. And if there's an issue, we need to be on it. I'm going to make sure that it happens. And that's just who we are.
So if folks want to go look up your website, what's your website?
Generator Supercenter of the Triangle.com.
Okay.
All right. I live in Tobaccoville, so I'm over here in the Triad, grew up here. We have a warehouse and a showroom in Raleigh. We're soon to have one over here in the western part of the state, and now we'll have 2 different facilities to work out of. But like I said, we go from I-95 all the way up to the mountains of North Carolina, and we take care of people. The other thing I would say, there's a lot of folks that are going to be watching this that already have a generator, but you may not have had it serviced. You may not know that you need to have it serviced. We'd love to help those folks out as well. Get your generator ready to go and prepared, and have it run when you need it.
And I think if you haven't learned by now, quality comes in different forms, and you can get a promise, but it's pretty obvious here that you all are start to finish and beyond with your customers, and that's something that I've always said. You know, customer service is everything to me.
I got a question because we talked about it is an investment. Mm-hmm. Do you finance?
Yes, yeah, we have a partnership with Synchrony Bank. Most people are familiar with Synchrony Bank through various retail stores, but we've got a partnership with them. They've got 6 month no interest, other no interest, all the way up to 132 months, lowest payment possible, and we can help facilitate that. And again, we're not here to sell somebody something.
Right.
We're here to help you get a generator to protect your family, and how's the best way to do it. And we're going to help you figure out the best way to do it.
You provide solutions.
We do.
Yeah. Awesome.
Well, before we stop, I
do have a question for you.
Okay, well,
I noticed throughout this entire show, you've had sunglasses on the top of your head. Now, I've heard you say that when you're cool, the sun shines on you 24 hours a day.
Well, they're not on.
Well, but they're ready to be.
In case
In case you need, in case you have
so
liver
M
shots.
Experiment, I got hooked up with them. They also support Jesse Love and Connor Zillich, and I got hooked up with them and had a couple different pairs. I think Devin may have put some pictures up, and you guys made fun of one pair I had. But if you're cool enough, you can do whatever you want. And so, but anyway, they're a company you can, Devin, I'm hoping that we'll put the link up where you can go and check them out. They've got all different kinds. They've got pleasure business. They've got, I call them like a biker would wear, the funny shaped ones. They've got plenty of stuff. They also have apparel and stuff. So, go check them out. I'm not a big sunglasses guy. It's kind of like a hat, right? It has to fit perfect.
Yeah.
And I've got 3 pair of these, and they all fit perfect.
You know if they do prescriptions?
They do.
Okay.
So Danny Stockman, the crew chief for Jesse Love, is how I made that connection. He wears prescription. I actually saw him yesterday at RCR, and he's got prescription M Experiment glasses. So yes, they do. I don't know if that's something that, I don't know how that works. If that was custom for him. I hope I'm not stepping on toes by saying that, but I do know they exist.
Well, no, I went to the website after you told us.
Are they on the website?
Well, I don't know about prescription, but I went on there to see if there was something that I liked.
That may be custom for him. I don't know, but I do know they exist.
Well, I'm like you, like the way I am with boots, right? Like cowboy
me.
boots.
Yeah.
And it's just got to fit what I like.
It's gotta be just right.
I went
It's
on
gotta
to
be just
see
right.
what glass, and they do. They've got several on there that I thought were super cool
Yeah.
that I would wear in a hot
Yeah,
minute.
they've got. So I'll tell you the story. So whenever I was selecting which ones I was going to get, I've got a plain black pair, and then I've got this pair, and then there was Slate was. He's like, Dad, you got to get a crazy looking pair. You got to get a pair that stands out. So that brown pair I had, that was that pair. But you guys may not agree, but I got lots of compliments on my brown pair when I was at Daytona.
How many people would walk up to you and say, "How much have you had to drink?"
No, they said, man, those are cool. Where'd you get those? So mission accomplished.
Teach their
Mission
own.
accomplished.
Teach their own.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to do is so I called I called Choice Tire and Automotive. I called Eric Engelbert and Scott Pine, our partners, and then they also have the car lot. And on a whim, I said, hey, have you guys got a rider that me and Jamie can take to Florida? And he was like, oh, we're gonna hook you up. So I go up there, and it is a 2021 F350, I think it was, 4-door dually platinum, blacked out. Oh, bad. It was bad. 150,000 miles. Duded it up. So that's what we drove to Daytona and spent the week down in Daytona. So I want to tell people, if you go to their website, if you're looking for a nice dually, that thing is
Right.
tough. It is tough, man. It ride. Because, you think, well, it's a little bit big. But then you get in it, you lay back like it's a Cadillac.
Well, when you're driving down to Florida and back, you want to be comfortable.
When I told him, I said I want something comfortable. And, when you say that, you're thinking maybe an SUV or something.
Right.
And then I get up there, and he's got that 4-door dually diesel. It was pretty tough. So go to their website, check it out. Thanks to those guys, not just for that, but for everything they do for us. And then we did the little podcast the other night at Choice Tire and Automotive. I want to mention RBR, which is Red Bank Racing, and Friendship Speedway with Chuck Melton and Michael Tesh. They came on board. They were going to do the Clash only. And then since we didn't do the Clash weekend, we've decided to extend the partnership through the season. So Friendship Speedway is under renovation.
Yeah,
I'm not a big dirt guy, but I'm hearing some really good things. And I've got a lot with Ben and everybody we know, Daryl Hoffman in the dirt world. We keep in touch with it. And they need a good dirt track, a good functioning,
locally
successful
around here,
local dirt track
other
in
than
this
Charlotte,
area. With 311 going away, and then Friendship kind of was fading out. So glad to see that's up and going again. But RBR is going to have racing parts. I think they're building a new building, and I think it's close to being done. I buy my aluminum from them, my sheets of aluminum, and they got all kinds of parts. I'm getting ready. I guess I can go ahead and announce I'm going to be a Renegade fuel dealer.
Okay.
I'm switching over. These guys have made me a deal I can't refuse. I've seen dyno numbers for, performance. So going to be a Renegade dealer. So that's through RBR and Chuck Melton.
Awesome.
So yeah, man, I know we had a lot of catching up to do because we were several weeks off from not having a podcast. And I knew we had to squeeze one in today. I'm going to leave here and we're going right to the shop. I'm meeting Jamie. He was meeting Jen with PSR in Statesville and getting some parts so we can work from now till next Thursday, probably around the clock.
Yeah,
Make sure
so
we're ready.
smart starts,
for Florence. Next weekend is a smart opener. Florence, Anderson, and then we'll wear a week off before the King of the Modified race. So it's here, man.
Yeah.
It's here. We're less than 2 months away from Bowman Gray opener.
Yeah.
The only good thing about that is not running that race. Me and Slate and Jason are sitting there race
Everything's ready. Yeah.
Sitting there race ready for the opener at Bowman Gray. So looking forward to it, man.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's here. So you work all winter, and there's no off season because you're just constantly working. But some people, my wife will say, "Do you enjoy being at the garage?" And not really. I enjoy
It's
the
a
racing
necessary
part.
evil, yeah.
So whenever racing season starts, and it kind of makes up for the some satisfaction in what you've put into it. So, yeah.
All right.
Forward to it, man.
Well, I guess probably the next time we'll sit down is maybe after the
After
first smart
Florence,
race.
maybe, yeah. Yeah, should be able to, because once those cars are done, unless something stupid happens, once those cars are done, things will calm down a little bit. We joked about this before. We probably work physically. We probably do more in the off season than we do during racing season. Racing season is preventive maintenance and fixing what you tear up. The off season is bodies, transmissions, rear ends. Excuse me. I picked up my rear end yesterday from Buzzy's for my car for this coming race. So it's just constantly going, and yeah, got to go when I leave here. Shout out to Mark Joyce. Leaving here, going by Mark Joyce's to get some decals so we can get that going. And
do we? Where'd our trophy stand go? Oh, it moved over there.
yeah,
I would really like to be able to put that back behind us with some new
well, we
hardware.
did 3 in
on
a
it.
row, and then had a little dry spell there. But yeah, it'd be cool to bring that back and put a Smarty trophy on there after Florence.
That'd be cool.
I've always had really good success at Florence, but I've yet to win there. Slate should have won last year.
Yeah.
Should have kept Myers in the victory lane on that deal, but we're looking forward to it. Like I said, I got to support. We've stepped up our game with PSR. We're bought in, full-blown bought in to PSR, and the support that they're giving us and the communication back and forth, and we kind of feed off of each other. And I think that shows with them having me drive their house car some, and I think there's a race coming up. Can't say too much about it yet, but there's another race coming up that I'm probably going to be in the PSR house.
Well,
car
now,
too, so.
you know, Victory Lane down there is Citrusafe Victory Lane.
I do. It is the Citrusafe Victory
So it'd be
Lane.
nice to have Citrusafe car, you know,
I can
and be
promise you this.
able to get Jeff some shout out on the microphone. You know,
I've already told him that when he goes to Victory Lane, you know, I've got to have a lot of power in this car, in the engine to get me to Victory Lane. You all need backup power at your house. So
that's exactly right.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
I promise you, I'm going to do my best. You can count on it. I'm going to do my best.
I do believe that.
I hope so.
I've never doubted that.
I hope so.
Never doubted that. All right. Well, I guess we'll see everybody back in about probably 2 weeks or
Yeah,
so.
about 2 weeks. About 2 weeks.
You talked to a lot of folks over the last 2 or 3 weeks and lined up some pretty good guests. I think we're gonna be able to get on here.
Noah said, I saw Noah leaving the Clash. He said, hit me up. I think Hosevar
I talked to Carson.
said,
Yeah.
hit me up.
Joey Logano said he'd come
Logano
on.
said he would love to be on. I think some JGR folks have been we've talked to a few, maybe even some Hendrick folks. So you can imagine those guys' schedules are really busy. So we have to coordinate around that. But
and we're
I
gonna
want to do something fun with Noah. I hadn't talked to him about it. Excuse me. I want to have Tommy and him have a golf simulator thing here, right? And I want to do something maybe with Noah where we play a couple holes and the loser has to wear the other one's T-shirt to the racetrack the next week.
That'd be
something.
fair.
But he's cool.
And we're gonna try and get
He's cool dude.
Cletus on here. We're gonna try and do
We
some
need
more.
to do that. I can't imagine we can't make that happen, especially with him racing at Bowman Gray.
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Y'all make sure and tag whoever you want to come on this show.
Yeah.
But we need to get that in front of Cletus.
Yeah.
But man, I was glad to see you run so well at New Smyrna. Get a leg up for the season. You know, quality people. You know, work with quality sponsors. Great partnership with you, Jeff, and we appreciate it. But I guess that's all we got
I
for
guess
today.
so, man.
But
I'm glad we got to do this with Jeff because a different spin. You know, we try to do a little dirt, a little this, a little of that. So this is ACC country. So to hear cool stories like that, I know the Carolina fans are going to love it, but even somebody like me who's a Duke fan appreciates it. Well, so it's cool to have you on.
Will you have some new merch coming out? Because Race Fan Gear has been so good. You know, so good about getting it out.
So there are. It's not official yet, but there are some new modified die casts.
Okay.
That are in the tumbler. Those I don't know what the release date is, but I know that they are in the process of being produced. Our merchandise, our new merchandise, will probably debut at the King of the Modified.
Okay.
At South Boston. That's a 2-day show, big weekend. Slate Stadium shirt is already ready because we were getting it ready. But then we had a shirt ready to hit the button to print for the Clash weekend that had the modified and the cup car on it last year.
Yeah.
Hero cards and T-shirts. And then the day we were going to print, we were holding off as late as we could. We're at the final day of we got to know is when the Bowman Gray announced they weren't going to have it. So we canned that idea because they had the Cup car on it. So we're in the process of getting a new shirt done. Mark Joyce's, Scotty and those guys are doing a good job for us to create something for us. So
all on racefangear.com.
It'll all be on racefangear.com, or we'll have it at the racetrack, obviously, as well.
And we get a lot of requests for hero cards. Hero cards, best.
You can get your hero cards on racefangear.com.
racefangear.com. And thank you to Citrusafe as always for providing us this great studio and platform to do this.
Absolutely.
They don't do anything halfway. It's either done 100% or it's not done at all.
That's the way we do it.
That's a fact. So again, Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Bert, it's good to see you again.
Yeah.
I hate that you didn't bring a trophy back, but whatever, dude.
Not yet.
But anyway, we look forward to seeing you all here in about 2 weeks. Make sure and let us know where you're watching from, who you want us to try and get on. And we appreciate you watching as always. We'll see you next time. No, we're glad to have you here, especially, having you working with Bert this year. And with all the different things going on, having you local and just you understand competition, you understand business. This is just a perfect fit, and we're excited to have you here.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. There's a lot of things that tie into what we're doing, which is you guys are competing and trying to win races and championships, and we're trying to grow our business and grow our brand. And the tie-in is that I grew up as a little kid going to Bowman Gray since 1973.
I hear you.
And how Bert and I got connected is my older brother was deaf, and someone told my parents that we should go to Bowman Gray when we were little kids. So we go over there. First time, my brother is at that point in time probably 8 years old. Can't hear, but he walks in and those cars come out, especially the modifieds, and his eyes got as big as saucers. And from then on, that was his jam.
Yeah,
He wanted to go, do you want to go here? Nope. You want to go here? Nope. I want to go to Bowman Gray. I'm going to go to Bowman Gray. And so he hardly missed any weeks from 1973 until a couple of years ago when he passed away.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I guess he could feel like it on the metal
He
seats
could
and
smell
everything.
it, he could feel it, and obviously he could see it. And so the modified cars became his jam. He would follow the modifieds and Bert all over. And I tell Bert that he's got a lot of number one fans, but my brother was absolutely his number one fan. The funny part would say, hey, do you like, and throw out a name, do you like the other one that he didn't like a lot was Junior Miller. He's like, hey, do you like Junior Miller? And he'd go,
My kind of people.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Well, in your line of work with large scale generators, the snowstorms we've had, the hurricanes, the everything, I would imagine that people are really waking up now, if not before, to just how valuable having something like that on hand is.
They really are. And so we've been in the store for 9 years. For the last 9 years, it's been a big push in the summer and fall with hurricane season, because we do get a lot of outages here in North Carolina, especially down towards the coast and coming in. But we've really dodged a lot of bullets in the wintertime. We've had some snows, we've had a little bit of ice, but nothing really major. And with this particular storm, even though here in North Carolina we didn't get it too bad,
Yeah, I mean, we got it, but it could have been worse.
we're now watching what happened over in Nashville, Tennessee, and what happened in northern Mississippi.
Yeah.
And those folks were without power for almost 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And folks are going, if that happens here, we're going to be in a world of hurt. Younger folks, we all can probably make it through, but there are, older folks that, they lose power for 3 weeks in 20-degree weather. That house is going to be 40 degrees, and it can get dangerous. And so safety, security, peace of mind, those are things that happen when you have an automatic standby generator. And you think about it, power goes down, 20 seconds later, everything's back on. Air conditioning's back on, heat's back on, refrigerator, lights, all the things that you need. You also have people that work from home that need to have steady Wi-Fi, steady internet connection.
People with medical issues that have to have medical equipment
That's exactly
that's operating.
right. Medical equipment is a big one. We have a lot of ALS patients that need some help there. And so it's a wonderful business because we get to help people. And,
Sure.
and that's really the crux of what we do every day is we want to help people, whatever their need is, whatever their reason why is, we want to help facilitate that. And it's just a wonderful feeling to know that we can help them.
One of the things that I found really, really appealing, and that I didn't even realize until we started talking, I've always felt, which I'm sure a lot of people do, when you think about an at-home generator, say it's a snowstorm, you got to get up, go outside, and make sure it's got gas in it, crank it, how much of the house is it going to run, all this stuff. But to your point, you just said it, like you don't do anything. It goes out 20 seconds later. It comes on.
It is fully automatic. You can stay sitting on the couch. If you're in bed at night, if you're at the dinner table, literally just wait 20 seconds and it is up and running. And
what is one of the things that people that decide to make this investment, what's the biggest hurdle that you see that, or like a misnomer that people think, well, I always thought this, and then when you explain how it works to them, they're like, oh, if I'd known that, I'd done this so much sooner.
Well, I think the big thing is what you just described is, hey, what all do I have to do? Do I have to go plug any of the panels? Do I have to go outside and plug it in? What do I have to turn off? What do I have to turn on? And literally, once we get it connected to the breaker panel in the house, the transfer switch is the brains of the operation. It connects to the meter outside.
Okay. All right.
It senses when power is no longer coming from the utility company. It'll automatically start the generator, and literally 20 to 30 seconds later, that power is coming now from the generator back up through everything into the house, and you literally have to do nothing.
So those times that middle of the night, let's just say there's car crashes, probably happen to all of us, car crash within a mile of your house, power goes out and you're sleeping, you don't know it.
Yep.
Next thing you know, you're 2 hours late for
Wake
work.
up and see your breath.
Yeah, like you don't even
done
wake
that.
up and your life still progresses as normal. You don't have any of those interruptions. So you service from Raleigh west, correct?
Yeah.
But if there's somebody somewhere else, they can still come through you, and you can get them to the right people.
Yeah. We had some folks that reached out. They were in North Georgia. That was a connection of a connection, and so we got them connected with our team down there. We've got stores and operators in Maryland, Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, down to Florida, all the way over to Texas and out western states now. So 85 locations throughout the country, and we're the largest.
Gracious.
We're the largest Generac dealer in the U.S. And so I'm in central North Carolina, so we basically go about 20 miles east of I-95, all the way to the mountains and the Tennessee line.
And we were talking, and I didn't realize how important it is to have maintenance done on units, and that's something you all can provide also.
We are a full service dealer, meaning that we can come out and do a site visit. We can determine what size generator you're going to need. We'll do the permits. We'll do the installation, electrical, gas. We'll get the final inspections. That's important because you know that it's done right. If you ever sell that house, everything is good to go with the new buyers. Unfortunately, there's a lot of folks that try to skimp and do this without the permits, and eventually there will be a problem.
Right.
Then we do the startup. We'll come out and do a tutorial, and we'll go through everything. Hey, here's how this works. When you see this, this is going to happen. And then I have a saying, and it's that there's a lot of people that can install a generator. There's a lot of people that shouldn't be installing generators. And the reason I say that is, yes, they can get the install right, but typically once they finish and they drive out the driveway, they're done. You never see them again. And these things are basically car engines in a box. Just like we have to change the oil in our car, we've got to rotate tires. These things need servicing along the way to make sure that they're going to continue to run.
Right.
You don't want to make this type of investment and 3 to 5 years down the road have a power outage for a couple of days and it not work. You're going to be mad. You're going to be mad at me. And so we want to make sure that not only did we do the install right, we're going to make sure that this thing's going to work for you for the next 10, 15, and 20 years. Because, again, it's an investment.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've had those calls where they call up after a hurricane and, hey, I lost power for 3 days and my generator didn't work. Well, walk out there and tell me what color that light is on the side of the generator.
Right.
And they're like, well, it's red. I said, well, if that light's red, it's not going to work.
Right.
And, I'm relying on you to call me to tell me it's out. Well, we've changed up how we work with our customers. We put a cellular monitor, basically like a cell phone on the side of that generator, where we've got eyes on it 24/7. As soon as that thing turns red, we see it and we call and say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Myers, hey, your generator light has turned red. Here's why it's red. It's an error code. It means this. And we'll be there Thursday at 10 o'clock to get it fixed so that next power outage, you're going to be ready to go.
So is it excuse me, like a car do you buy like extended warranties, or is all that included, or like how does that?
Great question. So Generac comes, a Generac generator comes with their standard 5-year warranty. We can do a 7 or a 10-year add-on, but it's through Generac. It's a factory warranty, and the service part is a separate piece. So that's part of what we do is we provide service. Again, just like we go in and get our oil changed in our car. That's a service that we do every 5,000 miles, 3,000 miles, whatever. And so we do that, and the monitoring piece is a little bit extra. But I'm telling you what, peace of mind that they know that we're going to call them if there's a problem. You think about this last snow and ice storm, we're running triage, about a week ahead of time because we know it's coming.
Right.
And so now we're going out and we're touching all the generators. Hey, you're okay. Just making sure we're getting ready for it. Same thing when a hurricane's out in the ocean. We'll know that we've got 3 to 5 days. We'll make sure that everything is ready to go. And again, that dealer that came out and did that install and they're gone.
Right.
Those people are, it's pot luck.
Well,
it may work, it may not. Right. I don't know.
What you're explaining and the level at which y'all go to make sure that your customers have what they need when they need it is the definition of professionalism. I mean, that's what you're paying for. And to your point about maintenance, you're not going to buy a new car and just never get your oil changed.
That's exactly right.
It's never going to last.
Yeah.
What in the range of generators, where do you start? Like as far as smallest and all the way up to biggest, like residential to commercial. Like what exactly do you cover? As far as installs from smallest to biggest? Like, what's your range?
Well, we have some portables in our store. That's really not our, bread and butter. Our bread and butter is working with customers and doing automatic home standby. Okay? Automatic meaning power goes out, 20 seconds later, it's back up and running. You had to do nothing. The smallest generator that we'll put in for customers is a 10 kW. And a 10 kW is you're actually picking, I want the refrigerator to run, I want the kitchen lights to run, I want this to run, and I want this to run. Usually it's a little smaller, so you might not get air conditioning, might not get heat.
Just the essentials.
You'll get
basically.
the essentials. And if we give you some outlets, if you've got a plug-in heater, some
But
of
a lot
those
of your
things.
220 stuff probably won't be covered on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now from there, we go up to an 18 kW, and 18 kW, now we're talking fully automatic, fully running everything in the house. We'll come out and do a load calculation. We'll look at the breaker panel. We'll look at air conditioning unit. We'll look at heat and determine what size we need to do. 18 kW is kind of the smallest generator that runs a whole house. It's not 100% driven by square footage, but you kind of think of 1,000, 1,200 square foot house.
Okay.
Starts off at that 18 kW. And then we go up to 26, 28 kW. There are 2 different types of generators. There's an air-cooled generator and a liquid-cooled generator. That 28 can go up to about a 7,000, 7,500 square foot house. Once we get over a 7,500 square foot house, then we're going up into a liquid-cooled generator. Has a radiator and cooled off a different way, much bigger, stronger, more efficient engine. Obviously, actually a lot quieter. But those generators can run, 10, 15, 20,000 square foot houses. So our biggest generator that we've installed for a homeowner was the Lexus dealer in Raleigh, and we got a 100 kW generator for him. He can run anything
I'd say.
Yes, yeah. How he came about that is his wife is a doctor at one of the hospitals, and one morning he has a security system, and he's got a gate in his driveway, and his wife is going to surgery, and she can't get out of the driveway because the power's out and the gate won't open. And I think she ripped into him pretty good. And so he's like,
There's been a lot of change in the world.
I need a generator. I need a generator. I'm like, what you need it for? So my wife can get out of the driveway.
Well, if I've got a Tesla, that's one of the first things I'm thinking about getting is a generator, or an electric car. I mean, your power goes out for 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, time to find the Huffy.
You're stuck, right?
You can be riding a bike. So
and that generator will power up, charge up. That Tesla, we've got customers that have 3 or 4, so we have to size it so that it can handle that. And think about it. Most of the time they're plugging those in at night when you're sleeping, so there's not a lot of power being used. So it's not as big a generator as you might think.
So somebody calls you, they're interested in getting their home equipped. What happens after they call you and say, I'm interested?
Well, we try to schedule a time to come out and visit the home. So we come out and the first thing we're going to look at is where's the electric meter, where's your gas source, and that can be either natural gas or propane. And in a perfect world, we can put that generator halfway between natural gas or gas and meter and do it there. Unfortunately, sometimes electric meters on one side of the house, gas is on the other side of the house, and so now we have to figure out, all right, which one would we rather do?
Right.
Would we rather put it over here and run
I think
gas?
mine are about 10 feet apart.
Mine are on opposite sides of the house.
Mine are right side by side.
So we've gotten to where
my brain, I'm sitting here listening.
we've gotten to where we would like to wring a builder's neck because they don't put them on the same side of the house.
I get that. We're just wrapping up building a house, and I never even thought about that until you just said it. I was sitting here thinking.
The last time it was a hurricane and the power was going out, and I had just a Predator, something another makeshift deal, and the power went out, and I'd already figured out which breakers I needed and all that stuff. The power goes out, and Kim said, "Oh, the power's out," and I'll never forget this. I went out, I got it cranked up, I flipped all the breakers, and everything's running, and we're sitting in. My mom and dad's power went out, but they had a little generator, and they're running extension cords into the house. So mine was plugged right into the house. So we're sitting there, and you flip a switch. Man, I felt like I wanted to go outside and say, yeah, boy. So I can't imagine this has been years ago, I can't imagine having a system where you just sit there.
Nothing changes.
It pops on, man.
Yeah.
But I'll never forget that, man. I felt like I was somebody, man. I was
bet.
I got power.
My dad's got one, and they ran. I can't remember what happened, but his cut on, and I remember him telling me, he said, best money ever spent.
I guarantee it.
Best money ever spent.
It's like insurance. You don't think about it until you need it, but when you do cash in on it, it's priceless.
Yeah, well, then you're the king of the neighborhood.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, you got hot water? You want to swing by the house real quick?
Yeah, boy.
Speaking of king of the neighborhood, we've actually had a couple of restaurants that have gotten in touch with us since the hurricane up in the mountains. And one restaurant lost $75,000 worth of food from refrigerators and freezers just going down for a month.
Gosh.
And that food is gone. So they're out. And so restaurant owner says, I am not going through that again. We go in, do a load calculation, figure out he needs an 80 kW big generator. Anyway, it was a sizable investment, but he's never going to lose food again for the next 20, 25 years.
Right, yeah.
Not only that, is when the power goes out where he is, his restaurant is still on.
Yeah. He's one of the few.
He's the only game in town that's open.
People can,
So since the hurricane last year to now, he's already had 7 times where power's out for a day or two. He's stayed open, and he's already recouped
I was going to
his
say
investment in the generator.
And then some probably.
And then, so from now going forward, it's all profit by being able to stay open, run, and not have food spoilage.
Yeah, I like your comparison to the insurance, because that's
exactly what it is.
You pay your car insurance forever, and
because I hate paying car insurance.
I do too.
But if I ever total my truck, I'll be glad I got it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,